Hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video with me, Tim Jones. Today we're looking at another Fotospeed paper, and this time we are looking at the Platinum Baryta 300. Now this is a paper that has been with us quite a long time, to be honest, and is probably one of the staples of the Fotospeed range. It is part of our signature range and it's the signature paper of fashion photographer John Swanell. So it has a lot to live up to, and we think it has certainly gained its reputation as one of the best Baryta papers out in the market at the current time. But before I dive into looking at this paper and looking at its key features and looking at all the lovely prints I've got on the table here as well. So let me just start with a little bit of housekeeping. So please don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel if you haven't already. Really helps us to get these videos out into the wider world and also spread the world of printing as well, so we can get everybody printing their photographs and artwork as it should be done. Also, don't forget to sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter to keep up to all the news here at Fotospeed, and also to download the free ebook on printing, covering everything from turning on your printer to framing, bookmaking, mounting, everything in between. Just click on the Fotospeed website. I'll put links to all this in the description below as well for you. Also, for all US viewers out there, we sell directly within the USA now from our partners Midwest Photo. So I will put a link to their website below as well. So if you're looking for papers and you live in the USA, please visit Midwest Photo and they will be able to help you out. So that's the housekeeping out of the way. Let's look at Platinum Baryta 300. So as with all these paper videos I've been doing, I'm going to start with the key points of this paper that are basically on the website, those bullet points that you can run down as well. So Platinum Baryta is a 300 and GSM, or grams per square meter, paper. It contains Baryta. So I will explain Baryta though in a minute, and we'll go through what that actually means to our prints as well. It is 100% acid free. It is Artshaw approved from the Fine Art Trade Guild, so it is a perfectly fine art archival paper. It has a very smooth unglazed gloss surface. So what unglazed basically means is it's shiny, but it hasn't got that high like mirror finish to it. It almost sits as like a semi-gloss type of paper, but they call it an unglazed gloss in fine art circles. Probably sounds a little bit posher, to be honest. However, Platinum Baryta is beautiful because you don't see yourself coming back like in the high gloss, basically. It doesn't have that mirror finish. It has this certain sheen to it and look to it, which makes it look absolutely beautiful as well. It has a very high, what's called D-max or black point to the paper as well. So the blacks in it are super silky, which makes everything look absolutely fantastic and just pop off the page. It is a high white point of paper as well, but it does have a certain, because of the Baryta content in there, it's slightly off-white, very, very slightly off-white. It's not like this pure white, like an NST bright white, or like a PF luster or something like that, which is like really bright white. If you do compare it to that, it is very, 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 very slightly warmer. It's compatible with dye and pigment inks, so it is available in cut sheet and in roll as well. It is available also in our square paper format in 8x8 or 12x12. It is also available in our panoramic range as well, and we do it in a special 50-inch roll as well. Like I said at the start, it is probably one of our most popular papers we do, and it really does do any kind of subject. Okay, so let's talk about Baryta now, and what Baryta is and why it's such a big thing in like the fine art glossy kind of papers that we've all kind of read about and seen. Now, Baryta is a additive or component that was added to darkroom papers to intensify the whites and give much deeper blacks and give a bit more punch to the pictures and things. But what actually is it? So this barium sulfate is added to the paper. And this is an additive that's put in the paper. So this is there to intensify the whites, give a bit more punchier black, so you get a bit deeper black, but also to hold detail and things in there as well. And it was an additive that was added in the darkroom into silver gelatin papers, and light sensitive coating was put over the top of it, and it worked very well for many, many years in the darkroom world. Now, because of this, it had an association with black and white prints. So that is why generally when we're talking about fine art glossy papers, we're talking about them trying to emulate a darkroom paper in general terms. And most of the papers out there that have Baryta in or are Baryta-like papers, a bit like our Legacy Gloss and Platinum Gloss Art Fibre, they would generally seem to be marketed towards a little bit more towards black and white, but that doesn't mean you can't print colour on them. Now, the black points of these papers, because of Baryta, is absolutely fantastic, I have to say. I'll go back to my train picture here that I've used in every video as we go forward, and the black and white pictures here, that actually the black points are really, really good and really, really deep in these pictures. Now, if I compare Baryta to, say, a Legacy that doesn't have Baryta in, what I find is, now, Legacy is a warmer type of paper. It has a warmer base to it. The Baryta, in certain details in like the trousers and things, there's just a little bit more contrast, a little bit more punch to it. In my opinion, that's the Baryta working, and that will give a little bit more something to your image and make it leap off the page. Not saying that the Legacy is bad. It's just that for the Baryta, because it's probably just because it's got that whiter point, a higher white point perhaps as well, things just jump off the page a little bit more with it. The same kind of thing happens in colour as well with it, that the colours really do pop. If I compare it to, say, a Legacy, as again here, the Legacy almost looks, in this picture here, I think it looks a little bit richer because of that off-white base possibly. Again, they're both unglazed glosses, so they have this kind of semi-gloss type of appeal to them without this mirror glaze going over the top. However, I would say the Legacy is a little bit richer in tone. The Baryta is a little bit punchier. It kind of jumps off the page a little bit more. Again, that's probably to that, it could be to do that white point, but it's also to do that Baryta in the paper as well, giving a little bit more contrast. And you see that through the prints on the table here with the kind of this very pastel-y kind of wildlife picture here. You can see the detail in the fur. It holds detail absolutely fantastically. And for landscape as well, if you've got something with some bright colour in, a bit like this here, it works particularly well because you've got that massive punch of colour going through as well. And also with darker colours, it just holds detail in shadows absolutely fantastically. Like on this lighthouse picture here, right at the bottom, there's some blocked out, or was blocked out in some other papers I tested, like the Platinum Cotton and things, the matte papers I've been testing. However, on the Platinum Baryta, there's actually detail coming through, and you can see all this lovely detail. And not necessarily, I'm not sure I could see as much detail on the screen actually as brought out in the paper, but it really does help to hold those. And it's probably one of those papers I'd recommend to have on the shelf, no matter what you're printing, because it just does everything really, really well. Like the wildlife shots here, does absolutely fantastically. You've got this little bit of colour and this pop of the red in this one, and those amazing blue eyes looking back at you, and it just holds it and prints on it absolutely fantastically. Black and white is where Platinum Baryta really kind of earns its money, shall we say. That's what it's at. It's emulating kind of that darkroom paper, and as you'd expect, it holds tones and shadows and highlights absolutely amazingly. We've got deep blacks in here, we've got beautiful mid-tones that it holds fantastically, and also that contrast just pops off the page to us as well. But don't, like I said, don't discount it for colour, because it really does do amazing colour results like this pencils here that I've been testing on. I mean, the colour on them is fantastic. It doesn't kind of mute anything. In fact, what it does is actually emphasise it, if anything, kind of makes it pop. It's just one of those papers, I have to say, that kind of works a little bit for everything, and it does everything really well. You're not going to be disappointed with this paper. Now, I say most papers, generally I do say that most papers will do kind of everything and kind of do most things well or okay, but Platinum Baryta is one of those papers that does everything really well, in my opinion anyway. You may completely disagree with that, but I think that like for travel photography and things like that, we got ICM on it even. It does ICM really nicely. And where normally I'd like a little bit of texture in the paper, but actually it's done it really nicely. It's done it really well. There's nothing I could say or I could say is wrong with that, or it's on the wrong paper. It's held the contrast really nice. You've got lovely depth in there. It's just done it beautifully. And again, that colour holds beautifully. The contrast holds really nice as well, but the mid-tones also hold beautifully on this paper. Like I said, this paper is fully archival. It is certified by the Fine Art Trade Guild. It's perfect for all your fine art exhibition prints as well. The paper is also available in the Fine Art Glossy test pack, along with the Legacy Gloss and Platinum Gloss Art Fibre, so you can test the papers out and see if Platinum Baryta works well for you. I'm pretty sure it will, because like I said, with the prints on the table here, it has worked absolutely fantastically. So on that note, I will end there. Hopefully that's given you a good overview of Platinum Baryta and what it can actually do for your prints and how things look. You print on Platinum Baryta as well. And to be honest, I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you print anything on Platinum Baryta, because it just looks great and it just works really well with absolutely anything. If you were thinking of putting one fine art paper on your shelf, I'd highly recommend Platinum Baryta, with maybe NST Bright White next to it. But if you wanted one paper, Platinum Baryta 300. Okay, so on that note, I will finish. And please don't forget, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel and sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter on photospeed.com. Also, don't forget to download The Art of Printing from Fotospeed, the free ebook that explains everything about printing, from custom profiles, turning on the printer, to framing, bookmaking, mounting it, everything else in between. Also, for US viewers out there, don't forget you can now order Fotospeed papers directly from inside the USA through Midwest Photo. And I'll put all the links in the description below to the ebook and Midwest, and also the newsletter for you as well. And also where you can buy the lovely Platinum Baryta paper on photospeed.com. We release new videos every Thursday on the Fotospeed YouTube channel. So I will see you next week. Bye-bye.